Hey everyone, Brandon Schuppe with Skydan Real Estate Sales. I hope everyone is doing well today. And first of all, before I get started today, I just want to take just a quick second and thank everybody who responded back. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the overwhelming response that I had over this last week since I made this video last week announcing how I want to step up my social media game on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I had a couple of really nice phone calls from a couple of past clients. I had some really nice emails, and I had some nice comments and posts on my Facebook and Instagram and Twitter page. So to start out with, I just want to say thank you to everyone who responded. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. So with that being said, I wanted to had some ideas over the last week of what I wanted to put out on this video today. And I think I started out thinking, what is one of the biggest questions that I get from people? Besides, what are the interest rates? Besides, how's the market? I get these types of questions all the time. Again, I've been in the business since 1991, so I've been doing this a long time, and I run into people all the time, and I love talking to them about real estate and interest rates and how are the real estate market, how's the market doing in general is probably the biggest. But specifically, probably the biggest question that I get is, my son is looking to purchase a home this year, and I'd like to refer him to you. What's the process of purchasing a home? I get young couples that are just getting married, and they're saying, hey, we're engaged, we want to start looking for a home this summer. What's the process? So because of that, I want to make a video today and explain to you what I always call is the 5 basic rules of purchasing a home. What are the 5 basic understandings and what we do when we're actually purchasing a home? The number one rule is the decision making. For whatever your reasoning is, purchasing your first condo, townhome, or single family home, like I said, a young couple that's getting married and they want to make a first purchase, making that first decision of purchasing is the number one first thing that you want to do. The second one then comes into place, which is your financing. You really do not want to go out looking for homes. This is one of the biggest mistakes that people make, is that they run out and they start looking at houses, running around to open houses, and they're looking at homes that they probably, in all honesty, shouldn't be looking at. So you want to find out what financing options you have and what is it that you can actually afford before you actually run out and start looking. It's going to make you more educated, and it's going to take a lot of time off of your hands, and it's going to make more quality of your time when you're actually out there looking for homes. So let me just explain to you. Getting approved for a mortgage, there's a few different things that are really important. First of all, what types of financing is there? In most cases, FHA and conventional financing are the 2 biggest options. What are the difference? FHA financing is going to be more lenient with you on your credit scores. They're going to allow you to purchase a home with a little bit less money down, such as just 3.5%. So I'm just using numbers here, but if you purchased a $200,000 home, that 3.5% is going to equate to about $7,000. Now, above and beyond the down payment on the FHA and conventional, you're also going to have to come up with closing costs. On average, depending upon who you're dealing with, you can be anywhere from 1% to maybe even 2% on closing costs. Now, one of the tricks when it comes to closing costs today, and we're seeing this, is that you can actually, when you negotiate on a contract on the sale of a home, in many cases, you can ask the seller to give you a credit back to help cover your closing costs. So let's say your closing costs are going to cost you $3,000. Sometimes the sellers will say, fine, we'll give you a closing cost credit to help you out so that you can get your loan, but we're going to ask for $3,000 more on the sales contract. And we're seeing a lot of this now. But the nice thing about FHA is they're going to be more lenient with you on your credit score. You're going to be able to put less money down, 3.5%. And then also when they do their appraisal, the bank is going to send out an appraisal. they're going to be a little bit more stricter on their appraisal to where they're going to actually be inspecting the property to make sure that the home is up to date, when it comes to fire and safety issues and things like that. So those are the positive sides of FHA. The downside of FHA, sometimes it takes a little bit longer to get the loan approved, and there's going to be more paperwork on the day of closing when you're signing all the papers. Conventional loans. Conventional loan, you're going to need 5% down. They're going to be a little bit more stricter with you on your credit scores. You're mainly going to be dealing with with the bank directly, because on an FHA loan, the FHA loan is governmentally insured. It's insured through the government, and this is why the FHA loans are a little bit more lenient on some of the things. On the conventional side, they're not going to be as lenient, and they're going to ask for more money down, such as 5% down. Okay. Also, what is the difference between a mortgage broker and a banker? A banker, you're going to be dealing directly. So you go to ABC Bank, you walk in and you say, we want to get approved for a loan. You're going to be dealing directly with that bank. Now again, this is my opinion. When it comes to dealing with a bank, my opinion and my suggestion is, if you're going to go that route, try to deal directly with a local municipal bank. When you get in sometimes with the big banks, okay, you kind of lose that personal touch. What happens a lot of times is their processing center is in some other state, and it could take a longer time for you to get approved for a loan. So if you're going to go through a bank, I always suggest trying to deal with a local municipal bank so that their processing and everything is done right there, instead of going out of the state. And in some cases, and I hear this a lot, is that people just feel like they're just a number when they're dealing with some of these bigger banks. So keep that in mind. When you're dealing with a mortgage broker, what they're going to do is they're going to be kind of the middleman between you and the investor / bank. They're going to actually go out, they're going to take your situation, and they're going to go out and they're going to field it out to all these different banks to try to find out who's got the best program out there. You're going to hear phones ringing in the background sometimes, because I am in my office, and somebody will get that. So just so if you hear that, that's just the phones in the background. I like mortgage brokers, and let me explain to you why. They do a lot of the work for you, okay? And in most cases, they get their fees paid by the banks that they supply the loans to, but they do most of the hard work for you, trying to find the best programs out there. Right now, the Illinois state, they've got EIDL loans out there, which are state-funded programs that will help assist you in closing costs and things like that. I believe, and I'm not sure if the EIDL loans, because it's a state program, once the money runs out, that program ceases to exist until the next time when they come out. But the mortgage brokers are the ones who will really educate you and push you on some of these programs. This is why I like dealing with mortgage brokers, okay? So you want to get your financing in line ahead of time, because once they approve you for a loan, they're going to pre-approve you versus pre-qualification. Pre-qualification means they just talk to you over the telephone. You give them your debts, what you owe, what your income is, and in a 5-minute phone call over the phone, they can pretty much give you a pre-qualification. They can also give you a pre-approval letter, which means you actually get a certificate, and let's say they approve you to $200,000. Now you go out and you start looking at homes in that $200,000 price range. It's going to help educate you, and it's going to take less time instead of running around, just running into open houses and just calling on addresses and things like that. It's going to put more quality into your home search, okay? Step number 3 is the actual home search itself. This is where you're going to be dealing with in most cases, a real estate broker. Again, I'm a real estate broker, but I'm just explaining to you in general. Most real estate brokers are not going to necessarily have you sign a commitment to them. Some will. Many, and I would probably say most, will not have you sign any type of commitment. This is a big loyalty game. Like I said, I've been doing this since 1991, and we spend a lot of time helping our clients and doing a lot of homework and research and market analysis for our clients when they're out looking for homes. So this is a big loyalty game. And where does the loyalty come in at? Once you make a commitment to dealing with a real estate broker, when you're out driving around and you see an address of a home, call the broker that you're dealing with. Don't call the broker off the sign that you see, because the broker that's on that sign is representing the seller. So if you call and speak directly to that broker, understand that that broker is representing that homeowner. And what's going to happen is if you end up saying, hey, we'd like to see that property, they're going to take you and show you that property. And guess what? The broker that just has been out with you showing you 12 houses, he's not going to get anything out of this, because our business is what they call procuring cause. So whatever broker showed you the property is the broker that's going to write the contract and get paid the commission. If you call directly to the broker that's on the sign, okay, it could end up coming to a situation to where that broker now becomes a dual agent, which means they represent the seller and they also represent you, the buyer. It's legal in Illinois. They just have to disclose it. But in all honesty, when you're dealing with a dual agency situation like that, who's really representing you when you're going into these homes and when it comes time to actually writing a contract? So loyalty. Once you get a real estate broker, deal directly with him. When you walk into an open house, make sure you have extra cards of the broker that you're dealing with. And when you walk into an open house, right away the brokers are going to come up to you and they're going to ask you to sign in on the sign-in sheet. Instead of signing in on the sign-in sheet, you pull out one of your broker's cards and you say, here, we're dealing with Brandon Schuppe from Skydan Real Estate. Here's his business card. And in most cases, those real estate brokers will honor you as my client. You walk through the property. You don't talk about personal issues with that broker. You just look at the home. And then when you're done, you contact your broker back that you're dealing with and say, hey, we went into this open house Sunday. We really like this. And then if you want to go back, that broker can actually schedule an appointment with you. One of the other things is the MLS. Because of the fact that 99.9% of the real estate brokers all belong to a community, which is the multiple listing service, we all put our listings into this giant pile and we all can show each other's listings. About 99.9% of all of the homes that are on the market, I can get access to. Whether they're on the market with ABC Realty or this company's, we can get access to all of them. So when it comes time to actually seeing a home, I could schedule an appointment on any of these companies' listings. When you see a property and you see the address, just write it down and contact your real estate broker, and he can get you the information and schedule the appointments to actually see these homes. Step number 4, once you find your dream home, this is when a lot of work happens from your real estate broker. At that point in time, you now have your certificate, you know what you're approved for, you've gone out, you've looked at 5 homes, 2 homes, 15 homes, 20 homes, whatever it takes, you finally find that home that you like. And let's say that home is on the market for $199,900. You've got a pre-qualification or pre-approval certificate saying that you're approved for $200,000. This is when you sit down with your real estate broker and you're going to actually write up a contract. Now, part of the biggest fear that people have when it comes time to writing a contract is, how do we know that we're being protected? And I'm going to tell you that in today's day and age, there are more protections on the real estate contracts for buyers than there are for sellers. There's so many contingencies on these contracts today. Starting with number 1, which is the most important, is a 5-day attorney review. You negotiate on the contract, the seller, the buyer signs the contract. We then send that contract to your attorney along with the seller's attorney, and each attorney has 5 business days to come back and negotiate on any other things, and they've got that ability to do that within the 5 business days on the contract. You also have a contingency for your financing. In some cases, it could take 30 to 45 days to get financing. You also have a contingency on a home inspection. You hire a home inspector, there's major problems that we find out. It gives you the ability to go back and negotiate with the seller to have these things either repaired, or you might decide to split the cost on them. But if you can't come to a decision, the contract becomes null and void, and you get your earnest money back. Now, earnest money, that's your deposit that you're going to put down on the home. And again, that money will sit into an escrow account until the day of closing, and it gets applied to your down payment. So the contract part is really the biggest part where we come in and negotiate. So let's say that home is on the market for $199. We're going to submit that contract along with your certificate showing that you've been pre-approved or pre-qualified. You come to an agreement. Let's say the home is then settled at $195,000. You go through your home inspection. You go through your 30 or 45 day process waiting for your loan to get approved. The bank sends out the appraisal. All of this gets done within the 30 or 45 days. At that point then, your attorney, along with the attorney on the seller side, will schedule a closing. We schedule the closing, and that's really the day of celebration. This is the day where everyone comes in and you're going to sign your paperwork. The keys are going to actually be given to you as long as the home is being given up for possession on the day of closing. And as I said, it's a day of celebration. So I want you to take these back and go through this. And like I said, if you know of anyone that's looking to purchase their first home, again, like I always say, keep me in mind and always, always make it a great day. Hey, thank you again for taking the time to watch my video. Please take the time to invite your friends to like my Facebook page and share any of my videos. If there's anyone that you know of that can benefit from my services, text or call me at my cell phone number provided here. You can always go back to my Facebook page and message me from there. Take care, and we'll talk soon.